Hello and welcome everybody to our latest webinar. Just waiting for everybody to get in before we start. Okay, we have a poll already on the screen. So meanwhile we wait for other attendees, you guys can answer the poll that we have on the screen. How are you using AI at your work right now? Let's see. So while everybody enters, I'll just quickly introduce myself. My name is Arshita Sevaldasani, and I am a partner marketing manager here at AISearch. With me, I have an esteemed guest, Stephen Pullum from Africurity AI. So, Stephen, over to you for your introduction.
Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for attending. I'm Stephen Pullum, Africurity. I am an AI Search authorized trainer on the AI Search training board, and I'm also a training partner. Most everyone know my background, 40 plus years cybersecurity and AI. I'm very happy that everyone attend. Hopefully you gain a lot out of this webinar. We've planned it very in depth, very intuitively, and you will have a good time, I promise you.
Okay, so Stephen, which all certifications have you completed of AI search as of now?
Well, as for AI search, first let me quickly detail as to why I chose AI search certifications.
Hmm.
I have several certifications, over 80, CISSP, CISA, a lot of the good cybersecurity certifications, and a lot of university training in AI, law, and things of that nature. One of the problems I found is that people needed a how. How
Hmm.
can we upskill? There's a lot of talk about what needs to be done, where it needs to be done, what laws need to be passed, but no one was ever asking the question, how? And so I did about 3 years of research, and AI search came across my radar about this time last year. And I saw that they offered a very competent, intuitive, multi business lane, multi infrastructure type training. And so thus far, I said, okay, let me break it down to business lane. I
Hmm.
certified first in AI executive because I'm an executive.
Right.
Then I certified in AI legal because I wanted to be able to talk to lawyers about how AI is impacting the legal field.
Right.
Then I migrated over to AI healthcare because I saw in hospitals how AI was coming to hospitals, but the nurses and doctors, practitioners, transfusionists didn't really understand and they were afraid for their job. So I
Hmm.
did AI nursing, AI doctor,
And
again, AI health.
And do you have any background of law or healthcare?
I have absolutely none, nor do I want to have it. My sole purpose is to get a fundamental understanding of what they do and how AI is impacting them, and specifically how to upskill. I don't want to know what a nurse does, but I want to be able to talk to them. One of the things I propose is that since I've taken the course as a student and an instructor to teach, example is nurses,
Hmm.
get a nurse through the course and then have nurses teach nurses under the AI search banner. See, it's my job to get a fundamental understanding of what they do with AI, and then bring this core competency level to that field, and then let them teach it. So we have an AI search nurse certified person, an AI search lawyer, of those things of that nature. That's how we propagate the how, because right now no one is answering that question.
But in a field like especially healthcare, where everything is more hands-on, nothing is done on computer, how can AI really help?
Well, in healthcare, one of the things I found is that the certifications, excuse me, are hands-on. So let me give you an example.
Hmm.
There are lots of quizzes, some labs, a lot of reading, and an exam at the end. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'll give you an example of the legal. I'm not a lawyer. I barely passed that test. However, when I finished, I understood everything in a law office, from general counsel to to the positions. And so I did not have to physically understand what they're doing. It gave me an in-depth overview. And you have, if you're not in that field, you have to study it a little bit. It's not simple. But if you're in that field, it's second nature. And so I wanted to show that somebody outside of the field cared enough to study what they're doing
Hmm.
humanistically and emphatically, that I care enough to figure out what you're doing and that this will help you. If I can pass it and I know nothing, then you can pass it.
Okay. By the way, we have the results back from the first poll. So, mostly people, what are they doing with AI? 47%, that is 8 out of 17 votes have gone to I copy paste work into ChatGPT on my personal phone to save time. So that is pretty alarming. And I'm sure most people, when we talk about AI, they either think, okay, maybe it's ChatGPT, maybe it's Gemini, what else it is. So, Stephen, when it comes to nurses, doctors, are you saying that we can just type things out in ChatGPT or Gemini and get results? Is that what AI plus nurse or AI plus doctor really is?
Impossible. AI plus doctor, I've taken a lot of tests, actually scared me. It brought up terms of medicine advantages, robotics, MRI, CT scans, things I've only had done to me, versus on the other end of it as a radiological tech.
Hmm.
So it actually, I was very actually intimidated by that test. I actually registered for it, and it took me a month to actually take the test. So for AI nurse, I mean AI doctor, I took one whole month of going through the material. This is wasn't although it says it's an 8 hour 1 day thing. That's for a doctor,
Hmm. That's
not
true.
for not for me, not for me. So when you see, oh, I can take this certification in 8 hours and get it in 1 day, that is if you're in that field because
Hmm.
you understand what it's talking about. Oh, Steve? No, 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 no. I had no idea that they were doing all that. It kind of scared me. I think they're actually earning their money.
So, Stephen, I think given the responses that we have gotten out of this poll, I think most of our participants would also have the same question that if not ChatGPT or Gemini, what is AI and how can we start using it on our day-to-day lives?
Okay, so let's break down the agents versus the browsers versus the super agents.
Hmm.
Okay, the super agents. You have super agents that pull multiple agents together. Manus, GenSpark, Perplexity. Those are super agents. Then you have a super agent. Then you have browsers like Perplexity's Comet and sometimes Gemini and Copilot. These are the things that integrate into AI, into your everyday operating systems and Google and stuff like that. Then you have your little agents that you create to go out and do functionality. And those are what we're calling agents. So the AI people are familiar with began basically, we're going to say, let's give a benchmark part of November 2022 of OpenAI releasing ChatGPT.
Hmm.
AI has been around since 1950. I used AI when I did 27 years in the Air Force and now considered cyber. I started using AI in about 87. Some of you may remember, if you go back to the movie like War Games, the Terminator, War Games came out in 1983, Terminator came out in 1984. The place where War Games was functioning at, I worked there. So that was any, so there's, so when you talk about AI, there's two types of AI: artificial intelligence and actual intelligence. So artificial mimics the actual. If it's
Hmm.
not possible in the actual, it's not possible in the artificial. So a lot of people are trying to make artificial intelligence do more than actual intelligence is possible, is capable of doing. And so it's making us a little bit, I want to say, lazy in a way. We want all these agents to do all these things, but if you want to go back to when uh, the first advent of artificial intelligence, remember when Microsoft put in the paperclip? The moment you did not have to think about spell checking or doing anything like that, there's nobody sitting on the other end checking for work. That's artificial intelligence. Come to the millennium, you got Hey Google, Alexa, the rest of them I don't use them. So all these things, Google Maps. There's nobody taking your phone and showing you where to go. That's all artificial intelligence. So
Right.
when there's not actual intelligence implementing the product or the service, it's artificial. So there's nothing to be scared of. It's been in your life all along.
But
Chat GPT, Chat GPT just made it to where as you can interface with it and but it's still just typing.
hmm.
Prompt
But
engineering is just proper English.
that's true. But these days, we hear so many news like in Amazon, Microsoft, people have been losing jobs to AI, which is a reality. You cannot deny it. So, like, what can people do to upskill themselves with AI? Do they train themselves? Do they opt for courses? Do they start learning by YouTube? What is the recommendation that you'd give if somebody who really wants to upskill themselves with AI?
So if you want to upskill, the first thing I recommend is look at what you want to do in a career.
Hmm.
That is the first start. You can't upskill something that you feel is not going to be there tomorrow. Then invest in research. The field is too new. There aren't any real benchmarks out there to say that this is the way things are going to be tomorrow because tomorrow changes.
Hmm.
Quantum is going to change everything. Everything changes. The moment that, if you remember, I'll give you an example. 3 years ago, a prompt engineer, Silicon Valley, made $400,000. They were asking for $400,000. I mean, if you could go get an English thesaurus and run to Silicon Valley, you made $500,000. They're sleeping in U-Haul vans now. Anybody can prompt engineer. So you have to look at where you want to go in your career.
Right.
Then decide if you need to stay in that career path or pivot.
Hmm.
Because if it is something that use your mind, your actual intelligence, if it's something you think can be replaced, it can be replaced. It's a personal decision. If it's something you think, well, if it looks like, I'll give you an example.
Hmm.
You're at Amazon. You're at Amazon and you sort boxes,
Hmm.
right? Now, if you think that they're going to bring in robots maybe in 2 years, guess what you need to do? Start upskilling to AI so that when that might happen, because nothing just happens overnight, there's always a precursor. There's always, a test. And so one of the main things that's not happening is that we're not identifying what is actually the workforce? Workforce, to people seem to think are the people around them, their neighborhoods, their city, their country.
Right.
But we have people talk about global workforce engagement, but
Hmm.
no one has defined what workforce is. And so until you make a definition of what the workforce is, you can't upskill workforce in mass. So that's why I say it's a personal decision, right? You're not going to upskill a whole lot of nurses. You're not going to upskill a whole industry. That's impossible because not everybody. If you remember, everybody resists change,
Hmm.
and the ones that are the proponents of the naysayers are the change resistors. But we know the way things go in history. 10 years from now, there's going to be another change. There's going to always be change. So the thing of it is, you need to adapt. And so my advice for upskilling, like I said, I looked around and try to answer the how based on the not on market, not on industry, but on people. How people, how it's a Stephen, you've been in AI all these years. I'm in this field. I need to upskill. I want to be able to say, go to these people right here. Go to these people right here because from what I've researched,
Hmm.
this is the way to do it. These are the way. This is a competent, certified way. And everybody likes a little piece of paper. Everybody likes a little certification, a little badge. Hey, I'm AI, yeah, 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 yeah. Everybody loves that. It's part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs: recognition, self gratification. So
Right.
that is what I would suggest from me, Steve.
But Stephen, one of my top concerns about AI, I'll tell you, I am from marketing and I see these AI tools making strategies, doing executions. Like, for example, the social media is dead. SEO can be done by AI, social media can be done by AI, website development can now be done by AI. Even AI tools can run better quality ads with better research, they can optimize that. So I feel like everything is getting automated automatically, and given the marketing industry, I think there are too many professionals that would be, that could become AI handlers. So which is why I feel like in the down the lane after 5 years, even if all of us get AI enabled, there will still not be enough jobs for us to survive in the market, right? Because the number of people who can stay employed would lessen every day. With AI doing
Yes.
all the work, we do not need much people in the execution anymore. We just need people to strategize or to oversee the strategy that is doing and just to oversee how the AI is running. And of course, the market will not need so many people for that. So, what do you think? Is there a really a need to upskill ourselves, or do you think it's just going to happen anyways and we just need to accept it?
No, see, so this is what I think. Just me, I can't see both of the speakers. This is what I think. One thing that AI takes away from people is creativity. Creativity. Um, and when you lose creativity, you lose imagination and ingenuity. Out of ingenuity is how we began. And what I mean by that is a marketing person in the marketing field
Hmm.
had to sit down somewhere and get a customer, and a customer wanted this product and wanted a marketing strategy,
Right.
right? They had to sit down and think of the our target audience, the budget, engagement, and all those things. AI does it for you, right? AI does all that for you. It's wonderful. Sora can make videos and all these wonderful things like that, right? So, what is missing out of that formula is the creativity.
Hmm.
The creative person who can use those tools.
Hmm.
See, AI is not going to replace any jobs at all. The person using AI is going to replace those jobs. The creative person is going to replace the person using AI because they're going to be that much more creative, whether it's in a business lane, whether it's in finance, because they are tools. Remember that. People forget that and think that they are tools. You are still the architect, the plumber, the marketing specialist, all these things. You are still that person. That will never go away. The moment that does, we are now the lesser species. And robots don't need to market to robots. They don't care. So again, it goes back to the personal, hold on one second. It goes back to the personal, what you think your career, your strategy. Now, I know you're saying, I don't know what the future is going to do with AI. Who does? Who does? But you can look at what you have today and forecast. Use a little imagination because I mean, if you think about when ChatGPT came out, so did Midjourney, right? And
True.
Midjourney had a Discord, and all these folks are using Midjourney and doing all those other things. And then OpenAI and everybody said, "Whoa, wait a minute! Look at Midjourney. Midjourney has a Discord full of all these artists, and these artists are doing all this stuff." It was the creativity of Midjourney that spawned all the other major big players to start creating stuff like Sora. And that's only been 3 years. So it is that type of creativity that is the human aspect that will never go away. So when you're thinking about, well, this is going to change, this is going to change, this is going to change. Yeah, it's going to change. You're going to change 3 years from now. You're going to be 3 years older.
Hmm.
So you're going to have to change with it. I mean, the ocean comes in, the ocean goes out, change happens. I didn't want to say change, but change happens.
Absolutely. So, Stephen, are you saying that we all need to upskill? And since we have identified that, for example, if let's say there are 10,000 people in the marketing right now, in the future we might only need 10 or let's say 50 to do the whole work that 10,000 people were doing earlier because AI tools are increasing our productivity every day. So, do you think it is going to become a rat race? Even if we start learning AI, it is going to become a rat race for all of us? Do you
It's
think?
a rat race. It's a rat race now. Let's look at it realistically, right?
Mhm.
The moment that the term social influencer came out, which I really hate because influencing means changing somebody's opinion to for what they're thinking to what you want them to think.
Right.
The moment social influencer came out,
Mhm.
marketing went down the tubes
That's true.
because I can get on. I don't do TikTok. Someone get on TikTok and do something crazy and make millions
Mm.
just because, and that's marketing. So So marketing specialists now have to have a TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all these things, right? Your company has to have shorts on TikTok, a Facebook page, a business LinkedIn, all these things to influence people, right? All driven by artificial intelligence, all driven by the algorithm, all driven by the algorithm, correct? So if that's what's driving it today, let's look at the next TikTok because it can't stay in its current form. It's got to evolve. Is it going to evolve into avatar type TikTok, maybe into a metaversial TikTok, right? Metaversial TikTok. Maybe I don't want to see actual things. Maybe I want my avatar to do things that I can't do in the physical world. You have to use, and see, that is one of the reasons I took so many separate and very diverse certifications.
Right.
It is a puzzle. You can't stay in one lane and know this and stay there. It's insanity. You have to see all the pieces and how they fit. You got to see how fintech interacts with AI. Fintech interacts with healthcare
Hmm.
because hospitals build, and so how they're going to build in the future? Blockchain. So you got to understand blockchain. And so I saw that maybe 3 or 4 years ago. You
Hmm.
can't look at this thing as solo. You have to get in there. So if you're in marketing, okay, what about secure marketing? What about marketing to secure clients? What about you're a marketing specialist for a bank to high-end clients who don't want to know their Bitcoins, their Bitcoin status?
Hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? It's that creativity that's making people millions. I'm not trying to make folks millions, but the upskilling part that I'm giving you today is right now, today is how to grab this type of competency so you can build the puzzle. You have to have some. I didn't know anything about blockchain or cryptocurrency or Bitcoin. I didn't know a thing about fintech. I didn't know. But I became a certified enterprise blockchain architect. I did all these things so that I could talk to people and say, you know what? You might want to think about this. I couldn't talk to you about what you're asking me had I did not did my journey.
That's
And
true.
so I'm trying to get people on this webinar to look at what I found in AI search. I'm gonna say this, and don't just the wrong way. It's not the name of the company. It is what they offer that's important. The competency of the material and what you take away from it is what I found is the how. And that's not a segue into a sales pitch. That is reality and truth on my part.
Right. I think we also did a poll here. What is the actual reason you haven't mastered AI prompt engineering yet? So, dear audience, please do vote on this. We have certain options. Are you too busy to work manually and learn how to automate it? There are too many new tools, or do you think you need a coding degree to understand what's it saying? Or do you think that AI is just a phase and it is going to go away? What is the reason why you have not focused on the prompting yet? Okay, so we have a poll. Let's see what the results come out. Okay, and also if anybody from the audience, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please do write it in the chat and we'll also pick those topic ups. And we have the result right here. So 30, okay, so we have a tie between the two options. Number one, they are too busy doing the work manually to learn how to automate it, and new tools come every day, and I'm waiting for the dust to settle. So people don't know which tools to use, that is one. And number two, they are too busy to learn these things from either of the sources. And the third top option is I'm secretly hoping this is just the NF. Okay, this is this is actually very apt. And we also have a comment from Susie. She says, I'd say I'm experimenting, but wouldn't say I've mastered it, but I'm trying every day. That's all of us, Susie. We relate with you so much. Even I use new AI tools every day. I try to use it in my day-to-day work to make my work a little bit easier, but it's not as easy as the videos make you look. You really have to spend time in understanding how a tool is working on the back end, and how exactly can you integrate it with your day-to-day tasks. So that is that. There goes my next question, Stephen. This is a common problem. If even if I complete the course, let's say I complete the AI plus marketing from AI Search, how exactly do you think I would be able to implement those things in my day-to-day life? Do you really think is anything in this course which would really help me to ease my day-to-day work, or would help me get ahead of my colleagues, or help me get ahead of the professionals that are working alongside me, or would help me to get a better job, or would help me to start a new business which is related to marketing? How do you think AI could potentially help me if I do this course?
Okay, what the answer I'm going to give you might sound kind of harsh, but it's going to be reality. Okay. Number one, it's not your company.
Right.
Your workflow and your job and your workload is not determined by you unless you are the manager.
That's true.
So you're not going to implement anything
Hmm.
unless the company implements something. And that requires a whole nother level of AI governance, regulation and compliance, GRC. They have to test the tool for privacy security. They have to test the tool for a lot of different things. So you're not going to go to AISearch, take an exam, go back to your job, and say, I now know AI. You're going to get walked right back out that door, right?
Okay.
You're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. Even
Hmm.
if you were the CEO and you said, I'm going to go, I took an AI search class and we're going to implement AI.
Hmm.
That's not going to happen. The legal department's going to be all over you, left, right, sideways. It's not going to happen.
Still
So now,
feel.
wait a minute. So let me say this. Let me say this. AI adoption rate in the industry is fast. AI literacy rate in the industry is down. So if I went and took an AI search class and I'm a marketer,
Hmm.
I would go to HR and say, I took this class. I am now certified in AI marketing. They have an AI HR class, and let's integrate this into our onboarding, right?
Right.
The more the merrier. And then if enough people start getting certified, then the business starts
Hmm.
looking at AI implementation. But for Lord, no, don't think you're going to take a class and go anywhere and say, hey, I'm AI now. You guys are just peons and I'm better than you. You got to get your termination slip.
So, like, if I still like, maybe does doing this AI course would I at least safeguard my job? Like, can I expect that in my next job where I'll have these skills, or when the automation phase has passed on too fast, would I still expect to at least be employed? Is there like, what is the personal benefit of doing a course?
First thing is an AI cert certification is a baseline certification.
Hmm.
Baseline in your industry. It is not your industry. It's baseline in your industry. It's a baseline upskilling certification,
Hmm.
but it is not your job, right? It helps you understand the AI impact on your job and help you relay that impact to other people in your field. But it is not your job. You're not going to take AI nurse and then go and start drawing blood. But if you understand how to draw blood and do a CBC panel, then AI search will start that certification is talking to you. And I want to bring that realistically. That's a realistic thing. These are certifications to upskill, personally upskill. Now, if we did a training session of 50 nurses,
Mhm.
50 nurses at one time, 50 nurses are going to take away 50 different interpretations of what they learned. Only until the hospital says this is the baseline of what we're using for AI does that interpretation take form into action, into validation. So if you got 50 nurses and AI search says the robot now is going to do blood draws, right? Hypothetically. And then the hospital says, from now on, robot does blood draws.
Hmm.
At that point, all the nurses who took AISearch that said the robot does blood draws can walk away and say the whole, because it has to come top down AI implementation. So I want to very, very make that very, very plain. This is an upskill, and I started from the beginning of this conversation, an upskill
Hmm.
of you personally in your industry, in your market, in your critical infrastructure, and whatever it is you're doing. That's why there are so many certifications. We have everything from AI doctor, AI finance, AI marketing, AI graphics, so many different things because we have what, 50, 60 something certifications
Yeah.
because it's upskilling the workforce, not creating the workforce, upskilling the workforce. And this is where they specialize. And this is why I was able to pass a few of the exams because I've been in the hospital a lot. So hey, I've been in the hospital. My grandmother was a nurse,
Hmm.
so I understood a little bit. The
Yeah.
doctor part, oh no, I barely passed that. But everything else, and I got to tell you something else. I'm taking AI quantum. I have no idea what AI quantum is about. I
Hmm.
haven't gotten past the introduction in 4 months.
Hmm.
So so it's one of those things that you have to look at where you are,
Right.
upskill yourself,
Hmm.
spread the word. Because I'll say this again, we never define what the workforce is. So it's a
Hmm.
personal journey. Certification with AISearch is a journey.
Hmm.
Don't think you're going to walk in with an AISearch and rewrite the industry. You're not. It's a journey. And if you don't consider it a journey, then you're not going to grab the benefit that I've grabbed out of what I've done in AISearch. And again, it is the how of everything that I've known thus far. Hit me again.
So, Stephen, let's say if I were to go and open my own organization tomorrow, and I have like 20 to 30 people in my team. How, so as you mentioned, only the owner, the HR, the L&D head can bring a transformation of AI to the organization. Can you walk me through the process? Like, how would the transformation look like? What would be the practices that I'll have to adapt for my organization?
Okay, so let's look at it like this.
Hmm.
You open a bagel shop,
Hmm.
right? And it is a family bagel shop, and it is in a good part of town, and it's going to be busy. I mean, you got location, location, location.
Right.
You're able to hire 20 people in the first day, right? You're able to have 20 people. And so you want to use AI to improve shipping and delivery, formula and cooking and all this other stuff like that. The first thing you need to do is put together a team to look at the feasibility. Now, this is where different matrices and frameworks come in that's out there in the industry for AI, from NIST and things like that teach you this kind of things, right? And so the first thing you want to do humanistically is, okay, we need to implement AI. What are the risks? What does it change about our business model?
Hmm.
Does the ROI equal, or the ROI equal what we're already doing? See, AI just can't be implemented because then you have to think about where we're going to host it at, how we're going to do our POS systems, and all these things like that. Then at that point, do we train our bakers, our cashiers? Who do we train? The
Hmm.
executive on the back? Who gets trained? Because that's a financial investment. You just don't train everybody because everybody has different jobs. There's no such thing as AI bakery, AI bakery. So even in AI search, we have AI healthcare, AI doctor, AI nurse, but they broke it down because somebody realized that, hey, there's medical transcriptionists, and there's everything else. You just can't say AI healthcare. There has
Hmm.
to be more, right? There has to be more. So if you was to open a shop with 20 people tomorrow and open a bagel shop, you put together a team and you look to the team and you try to find out the ROI and the feasibility. And
Hmm.
what it will look like is they say, look, we can implement this, it will impact this, we're going to slow down this. We have to you're going to spend X amount. How are you going to host it? Are we going to train? What kind of training? Does the bakers get training? The cashier get training? Does the delivery boy get training? There's a lot that goes. I'm a small business owner,
Right.
an AI small business owner.
Hmm.
So there's a lot that goes in it. So you're looking at more than just certification. You're looking at small business development, and that is a whole nother beast because it's the small businesses that AI is going to impact the most. It's the small businesses that are not going to keep up with automation. It's the small businesses that need the training more than the large corporations. So, okay.
We have a question from Stephen. I would like to ask, is AI impact politics in one way or another? I try to focus in developed countries because most of our politicians in our countries have less knowledge, but still they decide most of the things and they show little support in adopting these new technologies. There's a tricky question out there.
Okay, well, so I can answer that. I was part of the EU's AI office, all
Hmm.
four of their working groups. EU AI office, all four working groups. I'm also part of the National AI Advisory Council in America, part of MIT's group, that's Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I'm part of the Cloud Security Alliance, AI groups, part of IEEE as a senior member, and I'm part of a lot of their AI groups. Um, the thing with politics is AI did not impact politics,
Hmm.
in my perception. People impact politics, and AI impacts people, right? So, and money impacts people. So, to say that AI is a political issue, it's not. AI is technical. I'm a techie, right? From the time of LimeWire, Pirate Bay, Anonymous, and all the stuff like that, going back to the 80s, further there. So you can't say AI is a political issue because of what you see in the current environment.
But
That might change.
don't you think, like, for example, these days people build political opinions using AI? For example, there was little something that happened yesterday in my country, and I was pretty confused with what the news is saying. So I went to ChatGPT, I shared a screenshot of the news, I asked a bunch of questions. I was also kind of looking for opinions from the AI that what do you think, was this minister actually wrong, or is this something that was the right move? So I was also trying to build on my political opinions using AI, which was like, if you see, for if I was a politician and I had that realization that people are now building political opinions using AI, I would be like concerned, I would be scared, I would not be so quick to adapt the technology. What do you think on that?
First, I was trying to um, tell you something. But 1 second. Do you know how many AI browsers I use a day? I use GenSpark Perplexity, Manus, Notebook LM, and Claude, Comet, Sora. I use Grok. I use Copilot. I use Bixby, ChatGPT, Gemini, Microsoft 365 Copilot, and Google Assistant. I use
Hmm.
those daily. Every single one of them will give me a different answer to the same question, whether I
Hmm.
want to do deep research or not. So, what I think is this: when you're dealing on a political spectrum, use common sense. Because, my personal opinion, there's going to come a time very soon, and I think China's already done it, where your news hosts are AI, right? Or then they have a station where the news anchor people are AI. They have a hospital that's all AI.
Hmm.
Now, people are taken back by that, right? But do you really know? They say that the statistic is maybe 47 to 48% of all the news on the internet is AI generated, right? So this is what I say. Use common sense. And if it's not in your field of concern, leave it alone. I mean, if now, don't, I'm going to say this, get mad at me. I am not a billionaire. If they want to put a data center next to me, I can go out there with my sign and protest all day. They're still going to build that data center,
That's true.
right? I can go out there and set up me a little campfire and starve myself to death for 180 days. I'm just going to be hungry. I'm going to watch the data center get built. Or I can go home, organize, I'll go to work and get a job. So go get a job. So I hate to say that in the in the harshest of terms, but that's the reality of the fact.
Hmm.
It's the same way. Look at it like this: AI is the fourth industrial revolution. I
I
forgot what the other three was. I know the last one was computing. One was steam engines. I forgot what the other ones are. But AI is a revolution. There is no going reverse. There is no going. It's been around since 1950. At what point did we decide? I guess when the Terminator came out, we should have made a decision then, but we didn't. So we have to look at, there's no going backwards. We could have decided November 2022 when ChatGPT got released, but we didn't. We all celebrated.
right.
Now we're worried about jobs. So um politically, every every politician wants to have AI on their ticket. That's politics. It could have been the new flavor of Coke for all it matters. It's politics. That's my opinion. And if it's in there, and if it's in their constituency and in their district that brings money to whatever, they're going to vote for it.
Right. I understand.
Whether you have water or food or not, for them to sit, they're going to vote for it. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's always been. So
Okay. Coming back to the topic, we also have done a poll here. Uh, if you walked in your CEO's office right now and asked for their AI workforce strategy, what would you get? Would you get a detailed roadmap with budget and KPIs, a vague wave of the hand, and we are looking into it, a panic attack, or just use ChatGPT and write the strategy? What would you get? So we have done this poll, and I hope everybody has answered. Well, let's look into the answers. Okay, so the clear winner is that a detailed roadmap with budget and KPIs. Okay, that's really amazing to see that a lot of you think that organizations have now started laying out the AI strategy roadmap in the organizations. Whereas there is a tie between a vague wave of the hand and we are looking into it, or just use ChatGPT to write the strategy. That's okay. So I feel like 50% of the organizations these days are actually getting aware, creating an AI workforce strategy, and 50% of organizations are still waiting, I think, for the dust to settle. What do you have to say on that, Stephen?
if I walked into a CEO office and said, "Look, I want to see the AI strategy, and I need for you to give it to me so I know what's going on," he would just look at me, or they would just look at me and say, "Go to HR." But no, I'm the kind of person, I don't ask questions without already having some kind of answer in hand.
Hmm.
So the person would not have to ask me to generate a strategy. I would have the strategy already laid out according to my business and the things that it would improve. I would already have agents, cost effectiveness, cost analysis of hosting versus shared. I'd have all these things laid out. You're talking
Right.
to the CEO of the company, who's going to send you to the CFO, who's going to send you to the COO, who's going to send you to the CTO, right? So if you do not walk into a CEO's office with a strategy, nicely printed, color printed, bind it, looking good, a lot of numbers because they hate numbers. So you can send you to the CFO, but looks decent, then you should get a wave in the hand and a pink slip.
We also have a very interesting question from one of our attendees, Sammy. Sammy says, first, I would like to thank you for inviting me for such interesting session. I want to ask you to go in more details how to implement AI in my business, which is contracting, especially here in Palestine, which facing that complicated conflict and circumstances long time ago. So she's asking how can she implement AI in the business of contracting in a country like Palestine, which is facing war situations as of now.
All right, so this again, it's a personal Stephen, right? If I was contracting in such an area, me, I'll hold it to me, all right. The first thing I will begin with is satellite maps. Satellite maps and maps that would map out um, I don't know how to put it, I'm not a contractor, but we're building districts and things of that nature, according to what the property owns and stuff like that. But the first thing I would is do it with AI with satellites. Then I would have AI do reconstruction. And as AI did the reconstruction, now don't hold me this, don't I don't want to see this on CNN. AI did the reconstruction. Then for every building, I would have AI rebuild that building, right? Rebuild that building with cost analysis. So if there's a city block that was hypothetically destroyed, hypothetically, I'd have the satellite of the current version and the version of what AI can reconstruct. And then for every building in that block, plus improvements, maybe flowers and stuff, which AI can do, I would rebuild every building according to what was the building, and then have AI do a cost analysis of what would build that building. And then you have a block of cost analysis. I think anybody in real estate right now should do that. If
Hmm.
anybody is trying to refurbish a home, refurbish a block, get Google to take an AI, of the block rather, and have AI, and AI can do it. AI can do that. Reconstruct or rebuild that block. So I'm not just doing it for Palestine. I'm just saying globally in the real estate industry because you have an AI plus real estate. That's my segue. There's an AI plus real estate. There's not an AI plus construction, I don't think, but there's AI plus real estate. So Sandy, take AI plus real estate and then try to do some of those things. That's how it began. That's how it began in the construction. And then you down the line, when you build a building, so let's say just building a building, you have to put in cost analysis of foundation and rebarb and all that stuff. Let AI do all that. I want to build this building, do a cost analysis of building this building, the next building, put a park in the middle, and all this other stuff. Now you have a city block. And
Right.
anybody in real estate should do that. If you have a section of land, satellite image, boom, boom, boom. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay, that was such a great answer. Sammy, I hope that answers it. Then we have one more question from Mr. Arifi. He's asking, does this program prepare us for AI and real workspace tasks like automation, analytics, or prompt engineering?
Yes, absolutely yes. I am a certified prompt engineer outside of AI search. I've been a certified prompt engineer since 2003. Certified. Certified Gemini. Well, you have my LinkedIn. There's no need to say all that, right?
Hmm.
And so, um, I didn't take the prompt engineering course for AI search, but I did review it. I'm not.
Hmm.
There's no need for me to retake it. So, um, and the key word that you said, sir, is prepare. Now, with prepare, there's a lot of people say this. Well, I took it and I prepared and I didn't get a job.
Hmm.
Preparation does that not mean acceptance? Preparation is preparation for whenever you do get accepted. Because more than likely, if you never prepared, you're never going to get accepted. I give you an example. When I first got my certified prompt engineer, I applied for 140 prompt engineering jobs in Microsoft alone. I got denied for every single one of them. That made me think, right? The industry does not know what it means. They know they want it. They know what it means. So I actually, after I took the prompt engineering course, I went look what a prompt engineer does. They create input for the agent to respond back. I've done that since I was 5 years old with my mom. So, so the industry did not know. And I didn't take it hard because I just made me think Microsoft wanted something they didn't know what it was. And so I went on the journey of AI literacy to make people understand that preparation, I'm going to take this, do not just take AI search alone.
Hmm.
Let AI search be your foundation,
Right.
but
Got
you're going to have to, whatever you want to go into, keep researching, keep taking courses. It's never going to end.
Understood.
Okay.
So we have two more questions. One is thank you for the interesting insights. One is from Tatiana. She's asking how could I use AI in marketing? Your tips. So she's asking for tips that how can she implement AI in marketing?
There's a person I know called Harshita Sevadalasani. She's going to put her LinkedIn in the chat. She is a marketing specialist, and I'm not a marketer, but I am quite sure, as you see her face, you can ask her that question. I'm the first person to say I have no idea. I'm not a marketer.
Right.
I have no idea, but I can point to you people who can.
So I will answer that one. So how to use an AI marketing? You can use it in every segment these days. One, there are AI social media tools that you can use. You can use even the basic tools these days like Gemini or ChatGPT to create efficient social media posts. There are AI tools available for automation of socials. There are AI tools available to generate higher quality blogs, auto publish it on the website. There are AI tools which can find the right kind of backlinks that would grow traffic on your website. There are AI tools which would build beautiful websites, like there are tools like Lovable which would build amazing websites. Then we have tools which would create amazing dashboards, like we have Perplexity, the latest version of it, which would create amazing dashboards. So we have plenty of things that we can do in marketing, and all of this is covered in AI plus marketing course of AISearch. So I would highly recommend you to go and check that out. That is worth having a look on to. Okay, so Stephen, we have one more question. I would like to ask you your thoughts about artificial empathy of LLMs.
Artificial empathy. Uh,
That's quite unforeseen.
artificial empathy. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm trying to process that one. Artificial empathy. That sounds like hate. artificial intelligence, until it reaches AGI, hasn't any empathy. It is cold. It is numbers. And people are mistaking that coldness, that response. They're committing suicide, they're breaking up with families, all because there's a movie that came out called Her that starred I think Tom Hanks. Was it Tom Hanks? No, no, no. It was the other guy that played the Joker. Her, where he fell in love with his AI. And at the end of the movie, he asked the AI, how many other people are there? And she said, like 1 million, so and so and so and so. She was simultaneously telling the same thing to her. So people are mistaking AI for emphatic person. And that is the wrong way to approach. AI regurgitates, it doesn't create. It may put it in a format you may never heard of, but there's no empathy. There isn't any love. It does not love you. And it will harm you if you do not use actual intelligence, the other AI. That is my and the only way to stop this is education and literacy. You have to teach people around the world one by one, if it takes, that this artificial intelligence is artificial empathy. Artificial love, it does not love you. It's loving you and probably a whole lot of people on Gemini at the same time. So that is my response to that. Um, and if you're lonely enough to think AI loves you, then you need to go talk to a professional. That is my answer to that.
Okay, so with that, we are at the top of the hour. We have a last poll that you guys will have to answer. If you see a colleague finish a 4-hour task in 20 minutes using AI, what is your immediate gut reaction? Would you say they didn't really do the work? Would you say, why didn't I think of that? Or would you say management will realize we don't need 8 hours for this? Or would you say finally we can stop doing the boring work? What would be your reaction, people? Okay, now let's see the results. Okay, so we have a tie between why didn't I think of that and we realize we don't need 8 hours for this, which means that people, at least in our attendee list, are open to adopting AI, which is such a good news. And that is, I'm very glad to see the two positive results popping in at the top, which means yes, our audience is going in the right direction. At least people who joined the webinar today have have a certain sort of they're open to learning, yeah, and they're open to understanding how can our work dynamics change post AI. That is a really good news. Okay, so I would like to conclude the webinar now, Stephen, and until or unless you have something to add today.
No, keep computing.
Okay, so we learned about what is AI, how can you use AI in your day-to-day basis, what is role-based AI courses. Stephen also talked about AI in healthcare, how is AI in healthcare going to look like, what AI is not. Should you be afraid of AI or not? Should you be seeing AI as an opportunity? Stephen also covered things. Stephen also helped answer all the questions related to politics, healthcare, automation, prompt engineering, etc. So, all in all, I would say AI is more of an opportunity rather than threat. AI is something that we need to learn as soon as we can, because yes, it is going to get very competitive in the future as to who can adopt AI the fastest and with the utmost accuracy. With that closing note, I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining the webinar today. It was lovely to have such an interactive audience who was asking so many questions, commenting on things, and yes, to answer the last question of Mr. Dr. Utso, yes, you will get a participation certificate right after the webinar. Okay, Stephen.
Well, take care, everybody.